Hi, everyone. Hello, 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 and welcome to the Mary D Talk Show. We're back here again on another beautiful Monday. For those of you that get the text messages, what did I say on the text message? I said, smile. It's Monday. Smile. It's Monday. We have another week ahead of us. That is a blessing to see another week. Let's go with that. So I'm glad to see each and every one of you out on this wonderful Monday because we have a wonderful guest for you today. And this lady, I'm gonna first before I get into that, let me thank our sponsors. You know how I get ahead of myself sometimes. First, I'd like to thank you, our live viewers, and thank you, our replay viewers. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking time out of your day. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. So I'd like to thank you first. Then I want to thank our sponsors for the show. I cannot tell you how much we appreciate our sponsors. The first one that became a sponsor for the show and is still a sponsor is the Idea Club. For those of you that if you have ideas, it's theideaclub.com. And the president is Dumas Martin Jr. And if you have any ideas about if you like to start a 501c3, if you want to start an LLC or corporation, C Corp or an S Corp, you want to go to theideaclub.com, click the link, and all the information about how to do all that is there. And that is Dumas Martin Jr., and he can give you a hand with that. So that's one of our very first sponsors, and he's been with us literally from day one of the show. So thank you, Dumas. It's definitely appreciated. Next, you have First Book Academy. If you're interested in writing your first book, go to First Book Academy. And there are people on the team, and these are authors, and they've already written and published and all those fun things. If you're interested in publishing, let's say you already have a manuscript. You already have it. You don't have to write. It's already done. But now you want to publish. That would be under Front Page Publishing. You go to Front Page Publishing, and that's where it can help you there. There's editors there. You can find the illustrators there. If you're writing a children's book or something like that, that's where you would find them. It's at Front Page Publishing. Next is the Henderson Real Estate Team. At the Henderson Real Estate Team, I say group, you can give them a call. These are two professionals. They are excellent at what they do, ladies and gentlemen. If you're buying or selling a home, give the Henderson Real Estate Team a call because I'm sure they'd be more than happy to help you with anything you have. Also, the very last one I'd like to encourage you to donate to, and that is Main Ambition, which is a nonprofit, 501c3, Main Ambition. So you go to mainambition.org, and I'm just realizing everything is not scrolling, but if you go there, you would find, you can donate because mentors are working with high school students, and the goal is to get the high school students across that finish line where they graduate. If a student graduates from high school, the following positions become open to them. They're in a position to work for the city, the county, the state, or the federal government, depending on the job. But if you don't have a high school diploma, do you know all those positions have been closed to you now? That one piece of paper, that's how important it is to have that one piece of paper, that high school diploma. So I just wanted to make sure I share that with you. And that is Main Ambition. You can go right there if you'd like to donate. Now, and I almost forgot. Our executive producer for the show is Oliver Welch, and he is my husband. And though you guys, I know people say, I hear about this Oliver, but I don't see him. He is always here. Behind the scenes, Oliver is always watching the show, but he is the executive producer for this show. So, hi, babe. So now I'm going to introduce you to this wonderful, wonderful, and I mean this, because when I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, she's just not finding this out recently. I had read her book. Think about this. This is when they had the Black Women I think it was festivals or Black Women on Tour. That's what it's called, Black Women on Tour. I had the book of this wonderful lady, not ever believing I would ever even have a chance to meet her. Just think about this. Never thinking that was ever going to happen because I had held her in such high regard. I didn't think I'd ever get a chance. She's a celebrity. She's well known. She's well traveled, international. I'm thinking, I'd never get a chance to meet her. So when I met her, I was like, she's so down to earth. She doesn't know this, but I was like, wow. But let me read to you a little bit about this fantastic guest that we have on the show. Dr. Jewel Diamond Taylor is a renowned, passionate, knowledgeable, witty, and in-demand conference speaker, author, life coach, emotional wellness educator, spiritual encourager, talk therapy practitioner, and a publisher of You Gold Girl magazine and founder of Women on the Grow, a 501c3. That's just the beginning. For over 30 years, Taylor has traveled internationally: London, Brazil, South Africa, Jamaica, the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, Cancun, and in 35 states in the United States, inspiring audiences, corporate, churches, campuses, conferences, government agencies with her presentation, books, retreats, coaching, and online courses, empowering others to thrive. As a result of traveling the in Norway with Melanie Denise Cunningham, founder of Peaceworks United States, to create critical conversations about world peace and race and reconciliation, Taylor received the 2021 Emmy Award from the Northwest chapter of the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences for her contribution as an associate producer for the documentary filmed in Norway. Not only is all of the things I've said that I've already said about, but she is a wife, she is a mother, she is a grandmother. And all of that, every time I say anything, that's wisdom that I'm talking to. It's really wisdom. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you not only Dr. Jewel Diamond Taylor, but also a friend. Are you there, Dr. Jewel?
What a wonderful intro. Thank you, Mary. I am here and
Oh,
so excited. And, I'm just grateful that we have connected after all these
mhm.
years. I remember you visiting my home. I remember coming to your events. I read your books. I see how you just keep elevating and being so creative and empowering. You're just an educator at heart, and you find any kind of way you can to educate people. And you're doing it through these wonderful conversations. So I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to share.
Oh,
I'm ready to inspire.
oh,
What
I
should we
like
talk about?
I know, because I know that you're a motivational speaker, and I already know that part of you. But the audience may not know, how did you get here? What is your journey? I know your journey, but they may not know your journey. How did you become this international motivational speaker? How did that happen?
Ooh, I don't know if we have enough time. I'll just try to pull out some of the highlights. But the first time I went from job to job to job, knowing this is not where I belong, something this is not a good fit. It's like trying on shoes, and it doesn't fit. And
Right.
then one day I was introduced to a speaker called Jim Rohn
Hmm.
and Terry Cole Whitaker. And those two people ignited me, and I said, that's what I want to do.
Wow.
And the minute I said yes, when you say yes to God and yes to the universe,
Oh,
people and circumstances start showing up to align with what you have spoken to, what you have said yes to. And
yes.
I love that saying that says, it's a calling. I get it. It was a calling. It wasn't a conference call. My husband didn't understand it at first because he didn't get the calling. I got the calling.
Right.
And so I quit my job at Hughes Aircraft, and I stepped
Wow.
into this platform with no mentors, didn't know how to do this, and eventually a big door opened up, and I was able to travel for 12 years with the African American Women on Tour.
So,
And
yeah.
on that tour, I met, and I was in the same on the stage, introducing, interacting with Dr. Maya Angelou, Dr. Coretta Scott King, Yana Van Zant, Lynn Whitfield,
Wow.
Dr. Shirley Caesar, Frances Cress Welsing,
Wow.
Susan Taylor of Essence Magazine. I mean, the list, Queen of Fua. I mean, there's just so many dynamic icons. Alice Walker, who wrote Color Purple. It
Wow.
was an amazing tour. We would go to 2 or 3 cities,
Hmm.
major urban cities across the nation for 12 years. And out of that, I got introduced to speak in London and then Brazil, and invitations to speak for the EPA, the IRS, the DEA, the US Mint. I mean, so
Wow.
many military bases. I was in a large part of the Blacks in Government tour, and I would speak to so many wonderful people that I met over the years, and it just snowballed. And
Wow.
invited to speak at churches, invited to speak in homes, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful journey. And I
Mhm.
believe it just started with me saying, "Yeah, the shoe fits. This is it. This is
Oh,
what I'm going to do."
uh-huh.
And
That's
now,
the
Mary, I love helping to empower other people
right.
to say yes and
Mhm.
to strategize and believe in themselves and overcome, the imposter syndrome, overcome the hurdles that will come. There'll be challenges.
Yeah.
There'll be haters, there'll be duplicators. People, I mean, so many people have copied some of the things that I've done. And I had to say, well, that's part of the journey.
Yeah.
As sometimes it's
Yeah.
flattering, sometimes it's not.
Right. Right.
And then you have to balance family and you have to
Yeah.
balance life. Once
Yeah.
I said yes, my mother passed, my mother-in-law passed, my son passed. I had surgery, had a car repossessed years ago. I had to learn how to manage my money. I had to learn how to build my brand. Um,
Yeah,
create,
you've been through.
yeah.
Yes, so I mean, the knowledge that you've learned, the experiences that you have, all of that is what makes you, to me, more powerful. More powerful.
Well, we don't like the suffering part, but you
No.
can have the perspective that I'll turn it into a life lesson and I will share it with others because suffering shared decreases the pain. I
Wow.
became, I'm a grief counselor because
Hmm.
my 38-year-old son passed from cancer right in my arms. My mother died of breast cancer. So I speak at a lot of breast cancer awareness events, and it's
Right.
all because of the suffering. I'm a grief counselor. I didn't want this, I didn't want to wear that hat,
Right.
but I'm so happy that I could be a resource to people who have this unnameable, unspeakable, unbelievable, unexpected pain of losing a child.
Mm.
Um, Nothing can prepare you for it because it seems so out of order.
Right.
And so the Holy Spirit has convicted me to teach a lot more about resiliency.
Hmm.
I do a series from the pandemic. Nobody expected the pandemic, but I had to be creative just like you. And I discovered the comfort of doing Zooms. At first, I didn't want to do it. I'm like, oh, I don't look right. Oh, I don't sound right. Oh, the camera. Oh, the technology. And that's what we tend to do. We come up with all these reasons to resist doing something new. And because I had no alternative, I wasn't traveling, I wasn't speaking, I
Right.
learned to do what I call my inner versity every Sunday. And
Hmm.
it's been an amazing opportunity to teach my own master class every Sunday.
Wow.
So we learn how to
Wow.
turn our stumbling blocks into stepping stones. And I help people to understand, stop, don't live like a victim. Don't have pity parties. Don't act like you're the only one that things are happening to. Just because you're a Christian, just because you have a certain dress size or so many letters behind your name, doesn't mean that you are immune
To
from
anything.
the pain and the suffering. I work with women who have children incarcerated, husbands incarcerated. I've worked with women in drug and alcohol recovery. And I'm like, Lord, why am I talking to women about that? I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, but I had another form of addiction. I'm a recovering shopaholic. And so I understood what it's
Hmm.
like when you can't control your impulses and how you have to. And
Hmm.
what we do is we find ways to escape our pain.
Yep. I agree 1,000%. I'm there. Listen, because we. This is what years ago. I think I was widowed at 35, and the doctor told me when I went to his. I just was like you said. I was in pain, and
Mm,
he said you have to decide how you're going to live your life now because what has happened to you is if someone took your leg, cut it off, and said go walk.
right,
Because
right.
that's how the pain was so it was unbearable. And he said, you have to decide. He said, are you going to get on drugs? Are you going to start drinking alcohol? Are
Mhm.
you going to abuse yourself with sex? He said, there are choices you're going to make, but you got to
That's right.
decide what the choice is going to be. And then he said, and it's always your choice.
That's it.
Wow. It was so powerful when he said that. And I said, well, I don't want any of those things.
Well, that's what empowerment is. Empowerment means I do have a choice.
Yes. Yes.
I can find a new way. I can adapt. I love um, quoting this statement that it's not the strong that survive, it's the ones that know how to adapt that
Wow.
survive. And adapting is a life skill. Can you adapt after you've lost the job? I work with women who've lost their breast to breast cancer, women that had love walked out the door and they didn't know how to adapt. Their
Mm,
children were in trouble and they took it personal and they felt like they were a failure. Had nothing to do with them. And that's why I love sharing my 4 C's about adapting in life. And one of them is choices. And so
right.
you pointed that out so clearly that
Hmm.
this word empowerment did not exist when I started speaking in the 80s.
Right,
This
right.
is a fairly new word in the landscape of personal development. And people say, what is empowerment? Empowerment means I have the ability to choose
Yep.
how I am going to react, what I'm going to say, what I'm going to do, how I spend my money, what I eat, where I go, how I dress, how I react. It's a choice. And a lot of
I
people
love it.
forsake that choice because they think somebody is going to come along and
Right.
save them and fix them and help them.
Yes.
And it's like, no, this is a do it yourself life. You got to. I love what Prince said, dearly beloved, we gather here today to figure out this thing called life.
Come on.
And so you got to figure it out. You
Woo.
got to figure it out. You
And
got to have a relationship with God. You got a relationship with yourself. And then, Mary, the
mhm,
relationships that we have with each other. You know, we're part of a larger community of networkers, a community of people that care, a community of people that are active, a
right,
community of people that are social, a community of people that are creative, a
right,
community of people that are entrepreneurs. And so when you belong to a community, that help that's like shock absorbers.
right, right. That's right.
You're able to make it through because you're connected.
Right. And it makes a difference when you're connected. When you have that, well, I've heard now, we don't always say that, but it's your tribe.
That's right. That's what we call ourselves, my women on the grow. That is our phrase. We are a tribe because I love infusing into my language some ancestral language, some tribal language, because that is our roots. And
Right,
there was some knowledge and wisdom in the fact that people sat in a circle, or they sat on the porch, or they sat by the fire, and they shared, and they cried together, and they prayed together, and they grew their food together and they raised their children together. And
right.
that's a tribal mindset. And we've gotten away from that.
It's
And
true.
so I love that word tribe. Thank you for saying that because that's our saying for our women on the go is I love the vibe of my tribe.
I tell, well, we have a tribe here at the Mary D Talk Show. And here's one, Richard Nichols. I can tell Richard has been, when I tell you, a fan from day one. Hi,
Hi,
Richard.
Richard.
Richard says, "Hi, Mary." He said, "Hi, Mary and Albert," and then he goes, "Hi, Dr. Taylor." Nice to meet
Yes.
her. And this is Charles. Charles is another fan. Hi, Charles.
Hey, Charles.
I tell you, I can tell you and I mean this from by my heart. These men have been there from day one. They have
Hmm.
held this show up. They come. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate, and not just the men, the women too. But when I
Yes,
say this from what 2020, wasn't it? No, 2021. When we first started, they've been right there.
that's
So thank
beautiful.
you. It is,
Well,
and
they
that's why
must be
Richard,
acknowledged. They
I,
must be acknowledged. Yes.
oh, I just love them. And then Richard says, she got where she is because she showed up. She came to my church. Oh, Richard said, I said, hold on, Richard.
I remember speaking there.
Oh, she said you came to her church at St. Stephen Missionary Baptist Church in La Puente.
Yes, I sure did. I remember that.
All right. And then we have Colette. Hi, Colette. How
Hi,
are you?
Colette.
She said, God bless you. All right. I'm happy to see everyone's face. Ooh, sorry about that.
That's
I
beautiful.
forgot to turn my phone off. There we
Does
go.
you does your audience have the opportunity to ask me any questions?
They can.
Okay.
Audience, you can type, if you type a question in, if you have any questions for Jewel or myself, you're welcome to type those in.
Okay,
Then we have
wonderful.
Charles. Charles said, is there a Kindle version of Success Gems?
Thank you, Charles. That's something I have procrastinated on. I do need to have that happen, but I'm coming out with a more current version of Success Gems because
Mhm.
that was written, over 25 years ago, and it is a classic. If you
It
try to
is.
order it on Amazon, it's expensive because it's a classic. So
Oh,
my publisher She just sent me an email a few days ago. She said, Jill, we're going to update it and republish it. So once that book is republished, we will
Wow.
let everybody know. But thank you
Okay.
for,
Yeah.
remembering one of my first books, Success Gems. Wow, that's so cool.
And you know what? That's the book that I have that you've autographed for me with Success Gym.
Oh,
That's the one.
wow.
That book is so powerful, Jewel.
I gotta see, where is it? I know it's up here somewhere.
And then we have Lillian. Lillian says, "Hello, Dr. Taylor."
Hi, Lillian.
And then this she says, "Hello, Mary." Hi, Lillian. And Levon says, "Hello, Mary and Dr. Taylor." Hi, Levon. And then we have this is Lukumi. I cannot pronounce the last name. And they're greetings from Uganda. Hi, Uganda. I think you're the
Wow,
furthest.
that is so cool. Wow,
That but that tells
amazing. This technology is amazing.
isn't it? Thank you. And thank all of you
Yes.
that had comments. Whether you had a comment or not, just so you know, if you make a comment or ask a question, we're going to go back and try to definitely interact with you about that. But you started with, you said on your 4 C's. One was choice. I want to make sure we get those because I'm sure I like to listen to them also.
Okay. Well, I just shared it in my last inner versity masterclass. And
Okay.
everybody wants happiness. Everybody wants success and progress and inner peace. And I said, there's 4 things that stood out for me that once we're able to manage these 4 things, we will experience more peace and more success.
Uh-huh.
And we already talked about it. Know that you have a voice and you can make a choice. A lot of people are silent sufferers. A lot of people play the victim role. They don't know I have the choice to
Yeah.
speak up. I don't have to sit here and suffer. I don't have to remain stuck. I can ask. I can speak up. I can make requests. I can show up. I can share my opinion. This is how you overcome feeling minimal, is know that you have a choice.
Right.
Exercise your choices. The second thing is realize that nothing is certain in life. I
Wow.
had to overcome that fantasy. Just
Yeah.
because you become a parent doesn't mean that your family life is going to be perfect. Just because you have
Yeah.
so many letters behind your name doesn't mean that you're going to
Yeah.
get the dream job or the title. Just because you are a certain dress size or so much in your bank account, there's no certainty. And so it makes me live every day with gratitude and optimism because I know that nothing is certain, especially when you bury your own child. You said, wait a minute, this just flipped everything around. It made me realize to 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 appreciate everything and to
Yeah.
know that we need to be humbled.
Yeah.
That what makes us think that because you're upset with somebody on the freeway or you don't like the weather or the line is too long at the grocery store, you are expecting too much certainty. And the pandemic taught us that.
Yeah.
It really humbles you to realize nothing is certain.
No.
Seize the day, do the best that you can, love on people, follow through on your ideas, take care of your body because nothing is certain. The
Nothing.
other C is I think we crave too much comfort. We want everything to be easy, we want every green light. And it's the people that learn that, it's not going to always be
No.
easy.
No.
It's going to, there are going to be challenges. You're going to be out of your comfort zone.
And,
And
and
it's the leaders that love being out of the comfort zone. They love to
oh,
explore. They love to ask questions. They
mhm.
know that there's nothing to gain in the comfort zone. You got to get out of your city, out of your zip code. You got to get out of your state. You got to get out of your fear. You got to get out of the comfort of doing the same thing all the time. I challenge myself. I take different routes home. I go to different grocery stores. I do different things to break this chain of habit. We are creatures of habit. And when
Yeah.
you become so locked into doing everything the same, you
Yeah.
do not grow. You grow outside of your comfort.
And I know
Tasting.
I shared that with you before the show. I said I finished my first movie script, and then what I
See?
tell you, they said we don't like this, and
It's
I
like,
was
what?
devastated. I was sitting
Yeah.
there going, they don't like it. All this work I did, they don't like it, and I mean it did a job on me. But I need to share that with people because it looks like everything you do is successful. That's
Yeah.
not true, by the way. That's not
There is no certainty.
to
There is no.
anything. But when I got the email back that nope, we're not interested, It
It
did.
was a blow to your
It
ego.
was. I
Yeah.
did. You know, I did not write for 4 months. And I haven't told them that, but I didn't. I didn't write for
Mm.
four. I mean, I'm a writer. I did not write for 4 months.
So
Behind
you
that
must
one.
continue writing because you identify as a writer. You must not allow someone else to determine your value. And that's what happens. And this is what I help people understand. As you evolve, you begin to realize I don't allow circumstances or people to define my worth. And so many people do. Oh,
I'll
I got
tell you.
fired. Oh, I got
Yes.
sick. Oh, the relationship didn't work out. Oh, I didn't get enough likes on my Facebook. That does not define you.
No, it doesn't. But we do make it. I mean, like it or not, like I said, to hear and I treated it as though that was the only production company. No, I
Right.
really did. And
I feel you. I feel your pain. I
I
know.
was like, I need to rethink this. And then I'm gonna tell you how bad it got for me. So those of you that have never, I don't know if you've ever been through this or not. I write children's books. I can write a children's book and sit down in an hour, it's done. I went back to children's books. You know
Mm.
why? Because that was my comfort zone.
Oh, look at that. That's a
That's
lesson
what
right there.
and
Yeah.
that's what I had to do on myself, start coming to terms. What is going on with you? You went back to your safe place where you know you're successful. And I said, I had to force myself back out of that again, come
Yeah.
up with another idea for another script. I said, you're going to learn this. And this is a skill. Writing scripts is a skill just like any other skill. Nobody
Yes.
was born writing a script. So,
That's right.
but I had
It's like basketball players. Just because they missed the first hoop, they didn't give up all. They kept practicing. You keep
to
practicing. You
do.
keep practicing. And being in a few weeks, I'll be celebrating 37 years on the speaking circuit. And when
Wow.
I shudder to think about how I sounded when I first started. I shudder to think, oh my God, this little newbie holding the microphone. But I kept at it. I kept
You did.
practicing. I kept learning. I kept
Yeah.
showing up. And a
Yeah.
lot of people don't show up because they can't take the feedback. They don't like their muscles hurting. And I tell people all the time, there are people that work out for their physical ability and strength. I
Mhm.
do a work in. And so when you do the work inside of self, you're going to get tired. You're going to feel hurt, like, oh my God, this hurts. And oh
Yeah.
my God, this is unfamiliar. But when you do the inside work, it
Right.
doesn't happen overnight. You've got to
No.
wrestle with so many
Ooh.
beliefs, so many bad choices and past relationships and regrets and setbacks. You have to do the inside work so that you can get stronger. But a lot of people are afraid to go on the inside. That's why they look for something on the outside.
Yeah. I
Give me
was.
a drink. Let me go on a cruise. Let me buy some
Oh.
shoes. Let me have some sex. Let me just go to sleep because they can't deal with the work in. They rather have
Oh.
somebody on the outside fix what's wrong on the inside. And there's nothing wrong with any of us. We just have to, my father was a gemologist, Mary, and that's how I got my name. And so in reading his books, I learned that the diamond is a diamond because it goes through the fire. It is polished. It doesn't come out of the earth looking like a diamond. It looks like a piece of black coal. And
Mhm.
so we begin to shine as we're willing to go through the fire.
But
So
I
the
can
last,
tell
the
you,
last of my C's
mhm.
is recognizing we don't have control of everything. And
Woo,
the pandemic taught us that, didn't it?
it
That
did.
we do not have control. What we do have control over is what we're thinking, what we're speaking, how we're living, what we're eating, what we're giving, how we show up, how we respond to what's happening on the outside. I remember hearing Les Brown say it in the 80s when I first started speaking. And he said, if there's no enemy within, the enemy without can do no harm.
Mhm.
That's an African proverb. So
Yeah.
we have to make sure that the enemy, and say the word enemy with me. Say it with me, Mary.
Enemy. Enemy. It's
So
enemy.
what's enemy? If
Enemy.
I don't get rid of what's enemy, the
Enemy. Yeah.
doubt, the
Yes.
fear, the grudges, the anger, the disappointments, the resentment, the stress, the low sense of self-worth, if I don't get rid of that, then anybody on the outside can say anything about me. And all of a sudden I'm triggered because I've already got somebody to agree with you on the inside.
It's
And you see,
true.
once I work on the inside, you can say anything about me you want, but it doesn't trigger me because there's nothing in there to resonate with what you're
Oh
saying
my God.
about
I'm
me.
listening. I'm listening to you because when I mentioned I retired from education, and my principal was trying to get me to stay, and I've often said this: they could have stacked money on that desk. I was, but at the time, but it was because I had been prayed up, and now I knew when I went into the office. But prior to that, I was fearful. Everything you're
Yeah.
saying is so true. I was so fearful. I was scared. I
Yeah.
said, you don't have all your ducks in a row. You haven't done everything neat and this and that.
Hmm.
But I said, God, I trust you. I
Yeah.
trust you. And I look back now, I'm convinced the books that I write, all of this could not have happened if I had held on.
And
It's
not only does God trust, not only do you trust God, but God is trusting you.
yeah, you're right.
That's what I began to realize, that once you say yes to the calling and you do your very best and you do it
Woo.
with integrity and you are consistent, God begins to say, "Oh, it's just like a child. You don't, mommy can have some money. You don't give a child $100. You say, here's $1, and you want to see what they're going to do with it.
Right,
It's not that you don't have the $100. It's just that you want to see, can I trust this child to be a good steward over what I'm giving them?"
right.
And
That's
so I feel that when we start working on our gifts and our talents, the more we operate with integrity, and we're good stewards,
right.
and we're grateful, and we give God the glory, and we treat people right, God begins to open another door and then another door, because God says, I can trust her. I trust her. So
Wow.
a lot of times we're focusing on, oh, I gotta trust God, but it's a two-way
It is.
relationship. God wants to know, can I trust you that when you say you're going to do something, you do it? Can I trust you that when you fall down, you get back up? Can I trust you
Woo.
that you give me the glory instead of getting all puffed up in your ego? Oh, they didn't like me. Oh, they didn't take my book. That's ego. That's not God. God says, you're in training. You are in training. And
Well,
if you can give it up because of what people say, then you're not worthy of the gift.
this is what I finally realized too in that position. I was in a, I'm in, or I not just was, I still am. I'm in a learning curve.
Yes.
When you're in that curve, this I believe is where a lot of people don't make it because when you're
Yeah.
in that curve, it's painful. It is painful. I
Say
mean,
it, Mary.
when you're going through that, that's not a pleasant place to be. And
Mm-mm.
so people go, no, this is they drop you leave because you want to walk away from that pain.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in
And
that pain is
And
where
when
you
you think about it, Mary, people don't have these type of raw conversations where they talk about their setbacks and they talk about their pain. A lot of people just want to show you the end. They show you the baby. But honey, you and I know we birth babies. It's painful. It's stretch marks, it's bloatedness, it hurts. And
yeah,
all people want to do is see the baby, but you don't know what I went through to have that baby.
yeah,
And so we have stretch marks in delivering the speech, in producing the book, the play, the movie, the business, the brick and mortar store. You have to jump through a lot of hoops. You gotta pass a lot of tests. You're gonna go through a lot of yellow lights and red lights, and either you're going to keep going or you're going to say, you know what, never mind. I don't want to play. Give me my marbles. I am playing no more. I have many opportunities to say, God, this is not fun. I've had bad checks, late checks, no checks. I've had sickness, surgery, death, uh, pandemic, relationships challenge. People don't like you. People don't keep their promises. Bad
wow.
weather, canceled flights, missed flights, lost my notes.
In other words, you
On
name it.
and on and on.
But
And
you know
I'm
what?
like,
Though? Look where you are. You have learned. No matter what, what do? You keep going.
I want God to know, you can trust me, God. You can trust me. You
I
can trust
love
me.
it. I love it.
You can
Oh my
trust me.
God. But I know you're right though, because when I started writing was with children's books. That's how I started.
Uh-huh.
Now I'm writing books for adults. Now I'm having journals. Now I'm writing screenplays. I didn't start that way.
Of
It
course.
started with that one children's book, and now it's moved into an arena that I would have never ever thought. But I didn't even know I shouldn't say I know it existed. I didn't think it existed for me. That's the best thing I could say. And we have a comment from Lillian says powerful words. Thank you, Lillian.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Lily.
And Levon says, oh my goodness, this is so powerful. If there is no in me, no enemy within. Isn't that powerful?
Yeah.
It is.
You
And then,
gotta you gotta get rid of the doubt. I mean, we're human. I have moments of doubt. I have moments of worry, but because I'm so committed to being the best Jewel Diamond Taylor I can be, the
mhm,
best wife I can be. I've been married 53 years, the best mother I could be to my son who's still with me, the best grandmother to my Cody, the best leader to my wonderful tribe, Women on the Grow. If I could just be the best prayer a leader, worshiper leader, a
wow.
spiritual leader. I just want to be the best. That means I have to have self compassion. I
Right,
have to know that I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. And
right,
in the human experience, I will have flaws. I will drop the ball sometime. I
right.
won't always be accepted. That does not define who I am. I'm going to keep showing up on the
Right.
court. I'm going to
Mhm,
keep showing up on the field. I'm going to keep showing up on the stage. I'm going to keep showing up and just getting better and better and going through the fire and knowing that God is polishing us to
right.
be on display because we're always pointing our finger back to God. That it's not
Woo,
all me. It's not all me. It's
right.
God's grace in my life. Oh my
That's what
God.
it
When
is.
I
That's what
think
it
about
is.
the grace that God has shown me, the
Woo,
tight places I've been, and yet God delivered and God showed up and God was a promise keeper. These are
love
not
it.
just words, these
Right.
are experiences that I have had. And so when I think about my four C's, it anchors me to remember, Jewel, you've got a choice. Jewel, nothing is certain. Jewel, stop staying in the comfort zone. And Jewel, no, you're not in control of how people talk to you, treat you, love you, pay you, whatever. You need to believe in yourself and you
Woo,
need to honor the gift that God gave you. God did not make me a hairstylist. God did not make me a lawyer, a doctor, real estate. No, God made me this, and I was born for this, and I walk in it boldly with great gratitude. And
oh my
I
goodness.
stop hesitating and thinking, "Oh, but I'm almost seven. I'll be 73 on my next birthday, and oh God, I don't, God, I never did this, and God, I never did that." I don't focus on what I've been through. I focus on what I've gotten through. And I thank God that His grace has kept me in spite of the challenges of living on planet Earth. We're living on planet Earth. This is God's world.
That's right.
I'm just living in it, trying to do the best I can.
I know it just and Lillian is saying she loves that. Lillian said, I love that. These the comments, Jewel, I tell you, they're resonating. They're resonating
Amen.
with the audience.
Amen.
And we
Amen,
have
Mary. You're doing a great thing, Mary,
oh,
having these interviews and you're doing a great thing because you have such an outreach. You know so many people and you've been so true to your path of connecting people, networking,
mhm.
serving, your leadership, you're an educator, you're a creative person, and you're letting God work through you. And so I pat you on the back and I thank you for calling me your friend. I thank you for always remembering me. I thank you for inviting me today. I would like to invite your audience to be with me
Yes.
August the 12th.
Hmm.
I'm celebrating 37 years of public speaking, and I have amazing guest speakers, an amazing singer, Danny B, and then Alicia Barmore, who is my 501c3 mentor. She has an amazing testimony. I'm
Wow.
going to be speaking. We're going to be at the Grand Event Center in Long Beach.
Wow.
It's going to be Saturday, August the 12th. We call it
Mhm.
Sister Soul Saturday, and it's going to be a beautiful experience. And then, Mary, I ever since I started in the 80s, every year I produce retreats for women.
Right.
And we've done them on cruise ships, we've done them in Palm Springs, we've done them in hotels. And for the last 9 retreats have been in Malibu, California, an amazing little secret gym location that I found in beautiful Malibu. And our retreat will be the last 3 days in September this
Okay.
year, 2023. And so I would love for your audience to connect with me. Go to
Yes.
jeweldiamondtaylor.com,
Please do.
jeweldiamondtaylor.com, or go to my Facebook page, Jewel Diamond Taylor. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram. I have a website, I have
Wow.
a phone number, I got an email. So there's all types of ways, or just call Mary and Mary will connect you with me.
I can tell you, we have And I'm those of you. I'm going to put this in the chat. I'll put it up on the screen so they can see it. But I want to make sure I get everyone's comments in, because what happens is before you know it, it's time to wrap up. And I don't. And what happens, in audience, in case you didn't know, the system will shut down, and
Yeah.
that's why I sometimes I can't get everybody's comments. But I'm trying to get everybody's comments in. But Jewel, before I even say anything else, I just want to thank you. I really want to thank you because I've called you and I said, Jewel, I need help with something. And he's like, come on over, Mary. I mean, never have you once, not one time in all the years I've known you, said, oh, I can't help you with that. He said, if I know how to do it, I'll be glad to show you how to
Yes.
do it. So I
Yes.
want to tell you, I really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you so much. And want to say hello to Joan, who just checked in. Hi, Joan.
And Joan is saying, so inspire me. In Inoko says, greetings of love and courage. Jewel, I am so grateful that my foundation as a woman who refused to live a mediocre life came after attending your workshop, especially the woman
Oh,
board. Look,
that,
see,
oh, that is so
see,
amazing.
that
Those
is
those 12 years were magical. Is it
wow.
Inako or Inoko?
I
Thank you.
call it Inoko, but it's probably Inako. But
Yeah, yeah. I don't want to butcher your name, but
I
thank you
know, I know.
for the shout out because those were a magical time. And I hope that if you're in California, that you can connect with me. I also sent out a newsletter. If you'd like to receive my newsletter, you'll always get inspirational messages from me, and
Yes,
as well as an update of calendar of events. And you can get that link to get my newsletter when you go to the website. There's a link there that will facilitate you signing up to receive my weekly newsletter. I call it Wednesday with Jewel Diamond Taylor, and it's WIN, Wednesday with
okay.
Jewel Diamond Taylor. And I write my inspirational blogs and send them to you. What you do is you'll receive a text link, a text
Mhm.
alert, and you hit the link and you go right to my Wednesday word.
It is. I tell you, I read them. I'm on your text list. I read. I'm inspired every time
Oh,
when yours come across. Seriously, I read them and I read the magazine. I do both. The
oh, yeah.
magazine is beautiful.
Oh,
It
thank you. Coming from you, that's a great compliment, Mary. I am so proud of my You Go Girl magazine.
it
I,
is. It's
and I'm
beautiful.
like you, Mary. I'm like, God keeps dropping these ideas. And like, really, God, you want me to do that now? Really, God?
Yeah.
I remember when my son passed, and it was like, okay, you're gonna write a book. I'm gonna write a book. I'm grieving. And the title of the book is I Am Resilient because God wanted to use my pain to help somebody else with their pain
Right.
and learn that resiliency is not just about losing people. You can lose a job, lose your car, lose your business, lose your home, lose your mind,
Yeah.
lose your way. And I
Right.
share in my book, I Am Resilient, on how to have bounce back, how to
Wow.
really implement your faith, how to activate your faith.
Wow.
Not just about reading the scripture. It's like
Mhm.
how do I actually put one foot forward and
That's right.
get back up again?
Mhm.
And because a lot of people feel spiritually violated, like, why me, God? Like
Right.
God is picking on you. You feel like it's like
You
if somebody,
do. Oh
yeah,
no, no, I'm gonna have to interrupt you on that one because
yeah,
I have felt that when you're like, okay, Lord, you can give some of these burdens to somebody else because
yes,
you start feeling like that because you don't know what other people are going through.
right,
So you don't know that you're not the only one.
yeah,
That's the one thing I would tell you because I felt like that. I felt like, am I the
you
only
do.
one going through?
It's like somebody, if somebody breaks in your house and they take your stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you feel like, how dare you come into my sacred space and take something from me? And even if the police brought your stuff back, you don't even feel comfortable in the house anymore because you've been violated. So
Right,
when you lose a loved one, or you lose your breast, or you lose a leg, I have a cousin, his leg was amputated, or you lose your job, or you feel like somebody came in and took something that belonged to me,
right,
and I no longer feel comfortable in my home.
right.
So what we do, what my attempt is to help people to move back into their home and create a new normal. Because you're right, it's not the same.
No,
I will
not,
never be the same after my son's passing. I was never the same
no,
after my mother's passing, but I'm still here.
right.
And I had to learn how to create a new normal. I offer a free booklet to people that I wrote on grief. I said, you know what? people have funerals and they eat the chicken and they go home, and then nobody is there for them for the aftermath, the shock, the what they need afterwards. And so I wrote a little booklet that I give out free to people that are dealing with grief, so they don't isolate, and they know how to deal with the triggers when the holidays come and it's their birthday, and nobody's there to pray with them or visit them.
Mm.
We're so disconnected. We're living apart from each other. We're not neighbors. We've got freeways and zip codes separating us, and people are grieving. And loneliness is a great epidemic. There's so
It
many people I'm
is.
working with I'm a
It
life coach
is.
and a talk therapist.
Yeah.
And so I'm dealing with a lot of people that are dealing with this epidemic of feeling alone, feeling isolated,
Right.
and they don't know what to do. And we don't want them to succumb to severe
Mm.
depression. We don't want them to succumb to suicide and
Right.
overeating and overspending and just overdoing it over, and
Right.
this is what people are doing when they don't feel connected
Right.
to a larger body of believers or people
Yeah.
living,
Mhm.
you
They have
know,
to be connected to their tribe.
yeah,
That tribe is so, and I think that's what church really is too. It's its own tribe.
right.
You need more than one tribe. Let me say that. That's one of your tribes, but all of them serve a purpose. Is what I think
Yes.
they are. But we're
You know
gonna
why? Because
put
we are wired to be social beings. We are
we are.
wired to be
We are.
together.
We are. Here we are. We have, I'm going to go down the list here. We have Inoko. Inoko says amen to that. First of all, Kathy said, yes. And then Inoko said amen. And then Inoko says, learning to get out of my negative way. We all have to have gone. I know I do. I've learned this. It is a day, one day at a time. It's not once you get it, that's it. At least not for me.
You're
I
right.
am every single day I have to be refilled. Every single day I am praying. Every single day I'm in time with God. This is it daily. I can't just say,
Daily.
okay, that's it for the week. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work like that. It's a constant. But
It is
Kathy,
daily. It's
Kathy had a comment. She said, "Hello, hi, Kathy."
Hi, Kathy.
And then we have Debbie Franklin. Debbie says, she goes, "There is a reason for me to tune in today. Thank you both." See, Debbie,
Hey, Debbie.
I
All
tell
right,
you.
Mary. You're reaching a lot of people, Mary.
I
You've been so
see.
consistent.
And then Inoko says next. And then we have Wanda. And Wanda says, thanks, Mary and Dr. Taylor. I've listened to you for years. I think
Oh
she
my
means you.
goodness.
I haven't been over here.
Yeah, her name looks familiar. Her name looks
Yes.
familiar.
Oh,
And
and
that's why this technology with Facebook and Instagram are so powerful, because people are craving to be
yeah,
connected.
they are.
It's
Yes.
it's it's not
Yes.
a real live connection, but it's better than nothing for some people. I know people, Mary, that are on my Facebook. I know they're blind. I know they're in wheelchairs. I know they're in hospitals, but you would never know it because they're putting forth their best image. I
Right.
know people that are going through some real storms. You would never know it because they're putting forth their best image on Facebook, which
Right.
kind of troubles me a little bit because it's not their real reality, but it's their effort to connect and to reach out. So in that respect, I think it's good that they say, okay, at least I can hear what's going on, and I can see pictures and videos, and I can feel like I'm connected. But the real problem is that people are really physically, socially, spiritually, emotionally, and mentally isolated. And I feel like
Wow.
that is part of my calling, is to create
Right.
safe places for women to come and to gather. I have all types of events all through the year where
Right.
they can come and gather, because I deal with women that are married, some are single, some are widowed, some are retired. But for the
Right.
most part, I'm finding that a lot of women that outlive their husbands, or they were never married, or they're divorced, or they have the empty nest, or they need to stay active. They need to feel
Yep.
like they belong.
Without a
And
doubt,
so,
they have to. And
yeah,
then I'm gonna go to the audience. I want to make sure I get their comments, and they are just rolling in.
he says, Ashe, Ashe. I
Okay,
say, Ashe, back to
Miss
you.
Ashe, that was Inoko.
Uh-huh.
And then we have Charles that says, will the event on August the 12th, will it be live streamed?
That's a good question. I'm looking for sponsors. I have one sponsor, but if I can get some more sponsors, we'll be able to add that element. Because if I do live stream it, I want to make sure it's quality.
Right.
Charles, if you'd like to be a sponsor, I welcome that. But we're looking for sponsors so that we can cover all of our expenses and really make it something special. I'll be celebrating 37 years of being on
Wow.
the speaking circuit and just
Wow.
traveling and meeting wonderful people and hearing amazing testimonies and selling my 9 books and
Wow.
coaching and mentoring and
Wow.
doing a lot of therapy with people through their life's issues.
We
Some,
have Inoko
yeah,
said she loves the children's books. Thank you, Inoko.
yeah, they're so needed. They're
Oh,
so needed.
I have a new one coming out. This one is Bradley Can't Find His Pants. Uh,
Oh,
that's the
you
new
come up with
one.
the most interesting titles.
Well, to me, that's telling you that God is in it. When
Yeah.
I have put books up and there is not one book on the internet with that title, that already, I said, God, I know that's you. Because
Mhm.
you know how many millions of books are on the internet?
Come on now. Now, what is
So
the age group for your books?
this one is from like 2 to 6,
Two
different
to
little.
six.
And it's so I
Oh,
taught high school, but I write to the elementary level,
uh-huh,
which is so
uh-huh.
interesting for me. But this is another a book coming out. And for those of you who don't know, the goal was to make sure that all of the sons had books.
Mhm.
All of our children have books with their name and title. So that's why you
Oh,
have Peyton, the pink whale with the yellow tail. That's the oldest son. Then you have Justin. Justin lost a tooth. That's the middle son.
oh,
And now Bradley can't find his pants. And then we have coming Nasea, the tooth fairy. That's one of the grandchildren.
oh,
And then
Mary.
we have our son's fiance. Her name is Liz, and his Liz has a cat. So every one of them will have a book with their name as the main character in that story.
What a legacy. That is so touching. I'm so glad to know that just adds more meaning and more motivation to want to be a part of the legacy you're building for your family, Mary.
Oh, thank you.
Children's books are so important, especially since they have these technology traps that don't
Yeah.
allow them to hold a book and turn the page.
Yes.
And so you are part of the solution to keep making sure that we don't lose that educational experience of holding book. I never thought I would be an author.
Yeah,
I
me either.
I had to overcome my own doubt that in
Mhm.
and comparing myself to other people. And then
Yep.
God said, just do it the way I'm giving it to you. And
Yes.
I overcame it. So for people that remember my success gems and sister friends, and I am resilient, and shift happens, and you deserve more. And I'm like, really, God, I'm so glad that I'm trusting you, God, because you
Me
trusted
too.
me to follow through. It's like,
Yeah.
why would God keep giving us ideas and we don't do it and we just ignore it? He's gonna move on to somebody else.
He
So
is. I tell people that all the
I
time.
got that download, God. I got it. I
Yes.
got it. And I'm gonna
I
act
told
on it.
people, write it down. If you have an idea, and I'm sorry I interrupted you, but I say that if you have an idea, write it down because if you don't, he's going to give it to somebody
Just
else.
go give it to somebody else.
So,
And
if you,
I was like, Lord, I'm gonna do a magazine. And then as soon as I decided I was gonna do the magazine, he sent me to the right printer, got the idea. So I invite your audience to go to
mhm,
YouGoalGirlMagazine.com. You goal, GOAL girl
uh-huh,
magazine.com. And I'm going to be doing a special edition that I'll be sharing at my August 12th event, a special edition of my You Go Girl magazine. And
right,
I'm going to be starting after that issue to start incorporating messages that men can relate to because I don't want to leave the brothers out.
right,
But I launched it, because my main demographic
right,
is women. But
right.
these brothers, we got to make sure
That's
they
true.
get inspired too.
Yeah.
And so I
It-
thank your audience for going to that website, jeweldiamondtaylor.com, and You Gold Girl
Done.
magazine.com, and then womenonthegrow.org. And if you feel moved to make a
Right.
donation, we are a 50, I'm the founder of this 501c3. And what we do is we send money to women
Mhm.
that are going through adversity. We send greeting cards, we send flowers. I offer my counseling at no charge to women going through adversity because of the many donors that we have. We call them sister sowers. And some people give a one-time donation, but there's some people that make a monthly donation of all different amounts, which allows us to give money, send checks to women that are bearing their children,
Mm.
a mother, women that are caregiving and exhausted. women who are, we recently were aware of someone who's was a mother overwhelmed. She was in the truck with her son, who was a paraplegic, and the truck that was specially designed for a paraplegic son was totaled out, as well as his emotional dog. So this young
Oh,
man lost his dog and his special needs van, and this mother is overwhelmed. So we're sending her some love. We only can do that
right,
because of our 50 tax deductible deductions that we receive at
right.
womenonthegrow.org.
Wow.
Women come to us that are going through breast cancer,
Hmm.
unemployed. We sent money to a woman who was sleeping in her car with her children, make sure she
Wow.
stayed in a hotel.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, we don't have the real deep pockets like some of the people that we know that are
Right,
really, really big time people.
right.
But we do what we can. And that's what God
Okay.
said. Jewel, just do the best that you can with what you
Okay.
have and where you are.
All
And so
righty.
we welcome.
We're gonna definitely make we I so those of you, I'll put that in the chat. But I gotta go through. I mean, when I tell you, I don't know if we're gonna get through all these because it's. I want to make sure I at least put the names up in the question. We probably can't do a lot of answering, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm gonna try because I
I,
see a lot on this one,
yeah.
and
Oh,
that's a
wow.
good thing. I'm gonna be honest; it's a very good thing because we have. Let me go down here. Who did I miss? Oh, did I get? Oh, okay. Okay, this is Joan. Did I get Joan? I didn't know if I did or not. Greetings to you both. Met Dr. Jewel in the late 80s. She is a
Yeah.
diamond.
Yeah.
Then we
Oh,
have
thank you, Joan.
Luke Comini. I don't know. I thought a position of power is what would bring me fulfillment, but I couldn't believe that I could get more happiness and fulfillment outside the position.
Yeah.
But making, mentoring, and building weak nobodies but to strong leaders.
Oh, that's wonderful. It's fulfilling. It's
It is.
fulfilling because she's making an impact. And that's all we want to do. We just don't want to be building widgets all day long and
No.
sit on a,
Uh-uh.
we want to feel like we're making an impact because
And,
people that are teachers, as you know, Mary,
uh-huh.
you're not only you're teaching, but you're learning too.
All the time.
Yeah.
This is what and you know this too. You never stop learning.
You never
Learning
stop
is
learning.
forever. And then we have Oliver. Oliver said, "Hi, Dr. Taylor. Welcome to the
Hey,
show.
Oliver, good to see you.
Glad
Thank you
to
for
have
being
you."
such an amazing man of God and supporting your wife and
Oh,
all
he
that you
does.
do. It's so amazing. And I just, the way our dots are connected, Mary, your husband and the people we know in the IE, which is the
Yeah.
Inland Empire in California, it's a wonderful. And I bless you and your marriage, your family, all of your
Thank you.
endeavors. Thank you for including me on this mission. I feel so charged up to know that what God has allowed me to do is being recognized. August the 12th, 37 years. I
Yeah.
feel like I just started, but I'm grateful for the journey. I'm grateful to pass along my pearls of wisdom to other people. I want to leave this earth empty. I want to give it all. Whatever anybody needs to know, I will share with you one on one with my mentoring and life coaching and
Right.
being a top practitioner. And through my books and my magazines, I want to share because there was nothing there for me when I started 37 years ago.
Right.
And so I have to be obedient. I must share what God has allowed me to do, to overcome, to experience, and to
Right.
receive.
Wow. And I can tell you, we're down to last 2 minutes. As you see, I'm clicking through. So
Okay.
audience, just know I'm trying to get if I can't call your name out, I'm putting I'm putting them up as it goes through. And we said, and I saw Kathy said hello. Debbie said there is a reason. Oh, okay, there we go. And then we have Wanda. I'm going back through trying to get, and then it says Kathy said your birthday in September, Kathy. I think so. You said your sister's business group is in Malibu. And then I put the web
Oh,
address, Charles, I put it up, JewelDiamondTaylor.com. Is that correct, Jewel?
yes, JewelDiamondTaylor.com,
Okay, Jewel.
womenonthegrow.org.
Okay, because it's gonna. Jamie said hi. Jamie said, and I don't want to lose. I'm trying to make sure I get these up because we're
I
down to
know.
1 minute. It's gonna cut off. But I want to say this to our audience. I know we're running out of time. I can't thank you guys enough. I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever had this many comments.
Oh, wonderful.
It's been excellent. I'm gonna tell you. So we will be back again on next Monday. I'd like to thank you, Jewel, for taking time out of your day to spend time with us. You know, you're always welcome at the Mary D Talk Show. You already know that. We love you. We speak blessings to you and your family. I watch you on Facebook and I get such a kick out of Coach. So, so I
I
do
know.
want to thank you, thank you, thank you. But we do have to go because I don't want the system to shut down.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right.
Bye, everyone.
Everybody,
Stay in the light.
everybody, take care. God bless you.